we made the presentation to top leadership about this system. They asked us, they instructed us to develop a new system, which means the current trend of cashless and so on. And in that guidance, top leadership guided that we work with NITAU to come up with the new requirements. And indeed, those engagements took place. Those engagements took longer than expected for us to have the bidding document and the process initiated early for us to have the new system deployed before this contract would end. And accordingly, we were now caught between contract expiry and the current system which is there, because there was no alternative for us.
Mr. One, you did innovation 2 months to the excess, and then you tell us there was no time, you renewed. But worst case scenario is you are in UNRA. You knew all these challenges, but you still participated in renew. Now for us in Parliament, on the floor, we are given 2 minutes to talk and represent our people. So we are giving you 2 minutes to give us a reason as to why we should not have you arrested. You want us to postpone that? Here is in the interest of Ugandans and for Uganda, and it will be seen in the recommendations. The conclusion of this investigation, I need to know, how do you want to proceed with Mr. Wani's team and Mr. Menya's team? One, Menya has been telling us how they have been independently auditing. He has been moving with an entire team of very good people. We have Wani, who told us the software costs 5 billion or 5.7, but that is not the big issue. He was involved in the renewal of this, of the extension, let me use the right word, of the extension of this contract, yet he knew the flaws that were highlighted when he was still at UNRA, and now he's at Works. So how do you want to proceed with these two groups? Honorable Emma?
When I was in UNRA, I was the one who actually was reconciling, and I discovered that these reconciliations were not making sense.
Those days you were a Christian, now you are?
Now on the next one, that was in UNRA. When it came to Ministry of Works, I became a substantive commissioner in May 2025. And this contract was going to expire in May 2026. When we took over this, there was nowhere on the record that the procurement process had started based on those gaps which were there. What we did was to make sure that we start the procurement process. And starting the procurement process meant that the team had to go out and do an assessment of the performance of EGs. The team had to prepare bidding documents. And the team, whereas the engineers had capacity to do the technical aspects, the things to do with the software are supposed to be guided by NITAU. On our recommendation, the permanent secretary wrote to NITAU and the joint team was constituted. Now that team started working on the terms of reference. If these terms of reference and the bidding document were completed within 1 or 2 months, procurement would have been initiated. But unfortunately, this team worked longer, and for you to procure a tolling system, you have to get clearance from NITAU. I think that clearance was got somewhere, I don't know the month exactly, my team can help me. Recently, we are now progressing into advert. So the delay was in getting that clearance from NITAU for us to start the procurement process for the new provider. Meanwhile, contract expiry was coming into play. And to guide the permanent secretary, who is the accounting officer, on what to do next. As you may know, members, during that period when I took over, we were in a transition from establishing the new department. There were a lot of demands, rainfall was coming, there were elections, we have to deal also with the network, and in that process, many things were happening. Now, to advise the permanent secretary, we commissioned the revenue check and the assessment on the performance of EGs. Like Pinnacle representative has said, from 2021, with the challenges we identified, the contract management team under UNRA did a good job to make sure that the system progressively improves. Along the way, even when we started, the ITMS was not in place. I think that was brought in place around 2020 23 or 2020 something, I may not remember. So progressively, there were improvements. And when we deployed this team to do the assessment of the performance of Aegis, because, okay, like to clarify, there were two things which took place. The one thing that was done under Ministry of Works was the innovation, where Aegis indicated that after 5 years, they will not be interested to continue, and therefore Finaco would be the one to take over these operations. Like they say, Finaco learned on the job because they were already on the job, and the experience they gained was actually by doing the job, like he explained, they recruited people and so on. And that informed the decision to innovate. But also in that clause for innovation, they promised that they were going to give us the source code. Why we thought innovation was key, and that promise for the source code, is that when you get the source code, we would actually institute proper forensic audit, because we will have now access to go into the back end. Those are the things which were guiding us to go into that innovation. Now, because of the short time that was there between May and the end, and the bidding document is not in place, the ministry would not put in place, dealing with the transition issues, to put in place a team internally to do the tolling. The loan agreements require that an operator is the one that is supposed to do the tolling operations. So based on those constraints, indeed it is true that we made the recommendation for
engineer.
Yes, sir.
When you relationship, let me call it a relationship. Now you knew, even before the merger, you knew that the 5 years were running out. And you did not initiate a procurement. So later you cross to works. Because there are now maybe 2 months left, you innovate and you give an extension, even well aware of the background history of your relationship with the entire relationship. Let me not use names. So now the question was, because when you keep telling us there was no time, you should have had the time when you were still at UNRA, and you didn't do it. Unless you can save yourself and tell us, I'm not the one, it was this other person. Who was it?
Sir, I was not the user department. I was a technical advisor.
When you were at UNRA?
When I was at UNRA. The director of road maintenance, like Edie said, was the user department that was managing this contract. For me, I was a technical expert. I had the team that were actually doing the checking of the system, because the team that is trained and structured the...
It will be used based on the recommendations, if adopted, for further prosecution, whoever was involved in renewal and the justification for these renewals. When you know there were clearly several audits that raised glaring issues. Where's the CID? Now we should ask for more CID officers. No, you can't take yourself. You sit. You wait in your chair. So now the next group, how do we proceed, members? It's a very big group. But I think we have space.
Before that, I wanted to know whether we still owe Aegis any payment.
That road. Of course, there was a toll. So I am thinking in the contract they were supposed to have installed both hardware and software. I stand to be corrected from you. Because the toll was part of the contract. Yes.
Software, I'm not very clear. I need to see the contract, but the infrastructure for tolling, yes.
So where is it now? Because we understand you have kept it somewhere.
I actually don't know. Maybe I need to check.
Because Aegis says they came with their own. Is it? Pinnacle of Aegis now.
Yes, Chair. Could you please...
like the machines inside the toll booths, those machines, and the hardware and software. You brought your own.
Yes, we what's the word? We replaced what the former entity had put there. We replaced them with equipment that was Codrossi that implemented the what? The
okay, now where are those machines?
They are in the booths. The teams are using them, Chair. The ones we removed were handed back to UNRA.
So now, because that's the most expensive road, by the way, when you go online. Luckily enough, now we are number 4 in the world. Yes, you Google, you all have, it used to be the most expensive road in the world. Now we are number 4. I think some others have become more dangerous. Okay, for just a minute. So now, with that road, the contractor gave us these machines when he was handing over to manage that toll. And want to believe they were of the latest technology. And we still said we didn't have. I want to believe they were, because you are the ones who gave them this expensive road. I don't think you give such an expensive road and they bring poor technology. But then when Aegis came, they said these are not good. We rather bring our own. They removed them and gave them to you. First of all, where are our machines? Where is the software they had given us to run those machines? And why is the other company saying our machines? They are not saying it literally, but if you remove the other machines, it means ours did not meet the standard. Explain.
Chair, I think I was not anticipating that question. I will find out where those machines are. That contract of construction was signed in 2010. At least I found it running. What I know is that by the time they took over, Aegis, not Pinnacle, the toll booths were in place. The equipment was also there. I also recall, and I'm just really recalling this from memory, so I'll need to evidence it, that when Aegis came to do I can't remember, when you have a contract, the first thing you do is walk the road or walk the infrastructure and see what is there, what is not. That matter came up, that there is equipment, but it is not usable. Because it had come, I don't know when, but they said it was not usable in their system. So, Chair, if you don't mind, I would like really to give you correct answers.
Can she give us a written submission that will guide us on the recommendation? Okay.
Chair, I think it's okay because she has been away from office for 18 months.
So members, take a decision on the 2 groups in the auditing. And the other one is the engineer Wani, the famous Wani. No, let's finalize.
Chair, just before I finalize the fate of the 2 groups, I just wanted to...
It was the design life, service life of 20 years. 20 years, 20. Subject to proper maintenance. That was the design life. There is an operation and maintenance plan.
Members, finalize. How should we proceed? Finalize. Whoever speaks should be